Chapter 3. Highlights of Psalm 23. Psalm 23, 1. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. 2. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. 3. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. 5. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. 6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This psalm is well known all over the world and is an ideal of great beauty, elaborating on the peace and poise which dwell with those whose trust is wholly with the infinite. Verse 1. The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord means the lordly power God, the invisible spirit within. There is only one power. A shepherd in the Bible means a man who is spiritually enlightened, a man who knows that the infinite intelligence within him is God, and that this presence responds to him whenever he calls upon it. The spiritual-minded man, or shepherd, is one who watches over his sheep, godlike thoughts, constructive ideals, and who sees to it that his constructive thoughts, ideals, plans, and purposes are nourished and sustained by faith and confidence in the God presence within. They will then come to pass in divine law and order as you place your faith and confidence in the infinite spirit within you to lead and guide you and supply all your needs. You shall never want for evidence of the fact that you have chosen God as your shepherd, as all your needs are supplied, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Verse 2. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. Literally, in grassy homesteads. Psychologically and spiritually, you find yourself living life gloriously and abundantly. All your needs are met at every moment of time and point of space. A woman reading this verse meditated on the words this way: Infinite Spirit reveals to me new creative ideas which bless me and others. After about 15 minutes, she experienced an inner calm and had a great urge to write. Secondarily, she wrote some spiritual poems which were accepted for publication. Further, she is now writing a book which the publisher has assured her will be very well received. Prior to this internal experience, she had no desire to write. He leadeth me beside the still waters. Still waters mean the quiet, peaceful mind, a mind in tune with the infinite. Think of a lake on top of the mountain. When calm, it reflects the heavenly lights. Likewise, when your mind is relaxed and at peace, the truths of God come to your surface mind. That is one of the meanings of the quiet mind gets things done. Emerson defines prayer as the contemplation of the truths of life from the highest point of view. Meditation is the quiet attention of the mind to certain selected subjects upon which you decide to dwell or focus your thoughts. Shakespeare said, "All things be ready if the mind be so." A young woman who comes to my lectures on Sunday mornings recently said to me that she had been thinking of still waters, and that the works of God are finished, that if all things be ready, all she had to do was to ready her mind to receive the good proffered from the foundation of time. She said she began to claim frequently during the day, "I am happily married to a wonderful man. I am secure. I am happy. I am prospered. I am divinely expressed. I possess a lovely home, and I am deeply grateful." She affirmed in the first person, present tense, knowing that whatever she attached to "I am" would come to pass. Moreover, she realized that no matter what she prayed for would come to pass, provided she opened her mind and said to herself, "Yes, my mind is ready now to receive my good. Love is now. Peace is now. Joy is now. Wealth is now. Harmony is now. Guidance is now. Power is now. Wholeness is now, for God is the eternal now." She realized that God indwells everyone and is timeless and spaceless. She realized that she might as well take, accept, and claim her good now rather than 50 years from now. She believed in her heart, and her subconscious responded. All the things she claimed came to pass within a month. She made it a habit during the day to sing her affirmations to herself, knowing that by the process of mental and spiritual osmosis, these truths would sink into her subconscious and come to pass. She got her mind in shape and changed her thoughts and attitudes for a conviction of things as they are in the spiritual world within her. Verse 3. He restoreth my soul. Your soul is your subjective mind. Before a healing comes, your soul must be restored to wholeness and peace. To be healed means to be made whole. The words health and wholeness come from the same Anglo-Saxon root. Ill health means separation from the source, which is wholeness, beauty, and perfection. Ill health is discord, confusion, and fractionalism. A woman who was peevish, waspish, irritable, and full of deep-seated resentment toward an ex-husband recognized the cause of her arthritis and decided to restore her soul to wholeness. Aspirin and codeine tablets relieved her pain, but not the cause. Her physician told her that he believed her Attilian resentment brought on the condition as it precipitated itself shortly after the divorce. I explained to her that her Attilian guilt feelings represented the most destructive of emotions, and that when she refuses to forgive herself and others, her subconscious finds a way to punish her because deep inside she believes she must be punished. Some punish themselves by failure, some become depressed and dejected, and others punish themselves unconsciously, unfortunately, through illness and chronic symptoms such as arthritis, migraine, high blood pressure, or even some kind of accident. She came to a decision and released her ex-husband as follows. I forgive myself completely for harboring negative, hateful thoughts, and I resolve to change my mind now. Divine love fills my soul. Divine peace saturates my mind and heart. God's healing love permeates my whole being. God made me and sustains me. Whenever I think of my ex-husband, I will immediately affirm, God be with you, which means all around harmony and peace. It is my benediction, and when I bless him, I bless myself. God is healing me now, and I give thanks for the miraculous healing taking place. In less than a month, her soul became restored to wholeness of attitude, acceptance, and feeling, and all the calcareous deposits were dissolved. The edema subsided, and the acute pain decreased. Before the end of the month, all pain disappeared. Her conscious and subconscious mind were restored to peace, harmony, and goodwill, and the healing of her body followed. Look upon your higher self, the I Am, or presence of God, in you as your shepherd. The shepherd is a symbol of the healing, guiding, protective nature of the infinite healing presence which created us. All of us need guidance at times. We need inspiration, strength, and new, creative ideas. The promptings, whisperings, and urges from our higher self are always life word. A shepherd watching his flocks by day or by night is always on the beam or the qui-vive. He is extremely vigilant and constantly watches out to protect the sheep from marauders, thieves, and other predators. Verse 3, He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. There is a principle of right action in the universe. There is no principle of wrong action. Righteousness is based on right thought, right feeling, and right action. It means to think right, feel right, act right, do right, and be right, all according to the golden rule and the law of love. True thinking is completely free from fear, worry, anxiety, etc. To think is to compare, to choose. You are thinking only when your thoughts are aligned with infinite life, love, truth, and beauty, and when you think only from the standpoint of universal verities, not from the superimposed structure of fear, ignorance, and superstition, or from the mass mind. A chemist thinks from the standpoint of universal principles, not from the standpoint of some creed, dogma, or tradition. A mathematician thinks from the standpoint of the principles of mathematics. The power of the Spirit, God, is supreme. As you claim that infinite Spirit leads and guides you in all your ways and that divine right action reigns supreme, you're recognizing the Lord as your shepherd, and all your ways will be pleasantness and all your paths will be peace. Remember, whatever you meditate on, focus your attention on, or embrace in your belief becomes a guide and governor over your life. When you acknowledge the supremacy of the one power and the regnancy of your own thought, you have established in your mind that the Lord is your shepherd and you are at peace. You are in the paths of righteousness when you are still inside. Your inner peace and confidence is the proof that the infinite wisdom of God is your shepherd. An elderly man who used to come with a cane to my lectures on Sunday mornings told me that he had fear as his shepherd for a long time. People and conditions annoyed him. His technique was to refuse to be annoyed by newscasters and relatives. He began to affirm, God is my shepherd. God made me and sustains me. God's love heals me, and I give thanks for the healing taking place now. He used that prayer 100 times a day. Whenever negative, fearful thoughts came to his mind, he would affirm, God is healing me now. He made a habit of this prayer, knowing exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it. In a month's time, he threw away the cane and walked freely. He knew that as he saturated his mind with the above spiritual vibrations, all the cells of his body would take on a new spiritual overtone and bring about a healing. The tendency of the life principle is to heal, and as you align yourself with it, the healing presence responds in divine order. Verse 4, Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. God is life, and that is your life now. There is no death, for life is God, and God cannot die. The life principle has no beginning or end. Life is progression and endless unfoldment. Your journey is ever onward, upward, and Godward. You go from glory to glory, from strength to strength, from wisdom to wisdom, for there is no end to the glory which is man. Life cannot wish death. That would only be a contradiction. It would also be absurd. When you go to sleep at night, you go to the fourth dimension, which is all around us and interpenetrates this plane. This is also where you go when men, in their ignorance, call you dead. Your loved ones are all around you, separated by frequency only. Oftentimes you see them in your dreams. Your mother, who was 85 years of age when she passed over, may now appear to be 20 when you see her in your dreams. In the next dimension, you can strike any note you want and appear as 20, 30, or 50, for you are the infinite keyboard of God, and all notes are within you. When you turn on your radio or television, you see and hear people talking, you listen to music, symphonies, etc. You must realize that the music, the voices, and the people who were speaking or entertaining were already there, but you had to turn the dial to prove it to yourself. There is no one buried any place, and a scientific thinker does not visit a graveyard or put flowers on it. On the contrary, he gives the flowers of his heart to the loved ones by radiating peace, love, harmony, and joy to them, and rejoicing in their new birthday in God. Life is growth, and it is impossible to be less tomorrow than you are today. Your loved ones grow, learn, expand, and unfold, for infinity knows no end. There is no evil principle. Evil is living life backward. Spell live backwards, and you have evil. Evil is misunderstanding, misuse of the laws of mind. Think good and good follows. Think evil and evil follows. There is only one power, and our good and evil depend on the way in which we use the power. When we use the power constructively, harmoniously, and peacefully, men call it God or good. When we use the power negatively, ignorantly, or destructively, we call it the devil, misery, evil, suffering, Satan, poverty, etc. Good and evil represent the movement of our own mind relative to the one being, God, forever whole, pure, immaculate, and perfect in itself, the high and lofty one that inhabiteth eternity, whose name is holy. Isaiah 57:15. With the pure thou wilt show thyself pure, and with the froward thou wilt show thyself froward. Psalm 18:26. A froward man soweth strife. Proverbs 16:28. The perverse man is refractory, obstinate, petulant, cross, and peevish. He is not willing to comply with the golden rule and the law of love. Moreover, if some people think that God is punishing them or that God's will is something unpleasant for them, they will bring trouble on themselves by such an attitude of mind. Whatever they believe, the subconscious brings forth. God is to you what you believe God to be. If you enthrone a God of love in your mind as your guide and counselor, you will experience health, happiness, peace, and abundance. Verse 4, Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. The rod is a symbol of power. Some refer to it as the scepter used by kings and queens, which represents the power of government. When the Queen appeared before the Canadian Parliament, a man carrying a black stick or rod preceded her, summoning the Commons for the speech from the throne. The rod is truly a symbol of spiritual power with which every person is invested. A staff, figuratively speaking, is that on which one may rest for support. Shakespeare says, "The boy was the very staff of my age." Ecclesiastically, a staff is a rod or pole with a cross, forming part of a bishop's insignia. Learn to lean on God and depend on all your support from the infinite presence and power within you. This power will never fail you. You have the authority to call upon this power, and as you turn to it, the response comes, bringing comfort, peace, and a sense of security. Verse 5, Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. The enemies are in our own mind. They are fear, doubt, worry, ignorance, resentment, jealousy, etc. Never fight negative thoughts. Supplant them with the truths of God, which are eternal. Negative thoughts or the negativity of the mass mind cannot hurt you if you feast on harmony, wholeness, beauty, love, right action, and divine guidance. These are the nourishing truths of God which bring peace to the troubled mind. Whenever you fight the so-called enemy in your mind, you magnify the trouble. People who start a campaign to fight cancer, heart disease, muscular dystrophy, etc., looking upon them as independent entities actually multiply the diseases they are fighting. If you recall, some years ago during the March of Dimes and attendant publicity against poliomyelitis, it struck fear into the minds and hearts of mothers and caused an epidemic in various areas where a campaign was held to stamp out the killer. What people need is to lift up their minds and hearts to God and His love, and none of these things can touch them, since they are in tune with the infinite. We must cease placing created things above the Creator. To contemplate that anything in nature and outside the mind can oppose you and interfere with your welfare is error and a false belief. There is nothing to fear in God's universe. The powers that be are within you. Verse 5, Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. In the Bible, oil represents a symbol of gladness, praise, and a thankful heart. Anointing with oil means you are dedicated and consecrated to the truths of God, which are the same yesterday, today, and forever. Give thanks daily for the goodness of God, for His guidance, and for His loving care. Give thanks regularly and systematically for the fulfillment of your desires and the joy of the answered prayer. The cup is symbolic of your heart, which receives the influx of the Holy Spirit. Contemplate the beauty, glory, and love of the infinite. As you do, you will generate a healing fragrance which fills your soul, heart with joy. You discover that the joy of the Lord is your strength and that all your problems are dissolved in the light of God's love. Verse 6, Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. This means that because you believe in the goodness of God in the land of the living and in the infinite ocean of God's love saturating your whole being, peace, victory, triumph, and all the blessings of life are yours now. It is wonderful. Verse 6, And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. You are the house or temple of the living God. As you frequently dwell on the thought that God loves you and cares for you, you will find the response which satisfies and restores your soul. Your mind, house, is where you walk and talk with God. As you turn frequently to the infinite healing presence, calling for guidance, peace, and right action, you are said to dwell there. The frequent habitation of your mind on the contemplation of God and His wondrous works causes you to be rooted and grounded in the house of God within you. God's holy presence gives you rest, and you dwell in that house not made with hands, but which is your sense of oneness with the One who forever is.